Did you know that Suga once struggled with depression so much that he had to sleep in the bathroom because he was too afraid to face the people around him? Or have you heard Suga talk about the time he cried while taking a shower? He was scared of getting more and more famous, and terrified that he wouldn't be able to handle the pressure. And there's so much more that would bring you to tears if you knew about it. In this video, K-pop Library will talk about the struggles Suga has faced, as well as his admirable qualities even during his most difficult times. BTS is so successful now, but not many people know what they had to go through. Coming from a small company, they had to bear a huge debt, and Suga even had to take on extra jobs to help cover his personal expenses for food and shelter. When he was 17 or 18, if Suga used his money to buy a meal, he wouldn't have enough left to take the bus. If he bought a bowl of black bean noodles, he wouldn't have any money left to get home. Even when he sold a song he composed, he didn't get paid anything. He was even scammed out of his money. In an interview back in 2014, Suga revealed that he had faced and fought his own depression because he couldn't afford to make ends meet. Suga even worked as a delivery person. He struggled with obsessive-compulsive disorder and social phobia even before debuting at the age of 18. His psychological issues were so severe that he had to sleep in the bathroom because he was too afraid of people and would just stare at himself. In his song The Last, Suga vividly describes how he battled with depression. Many ARMYs couldn't help but shed tears while listening to this track. Suga once shared that he faced strong opposition from his parents during the first 6 months of pursuing music. His father was strict and didn't want him to suffer as he had. They always wanted their children to lead normal lives and have stable jobs. For a long time, Suga's parents didn't acknowledge or attend any of his music events. But when they eventually changed their minds and started supporting Suga, it became one of the most memorable moments for ARMYs. Now, Suga's parents fully support his musical journey. Suga might be the most enigmatic member of the group. On the outside, he appears incredibly cold and it's hard to guess what he's thinking. But the more you learn about him, the more surprises you'll find. Suga can be so warm-hearted that he puts all his effort into making gifts for ARMYs on his birthday, thanks them after every concert, and silently cares for the members in his own way. Every action he takes shows a unique warmth. For example, when J-Hope was filming a music video, Suga came to the set to cheer him on, but pretended he was just there to buy food for his dog, Holly. During the Love Yourself tour, V's earpiece broke, and Suga immediately gave him his own. After a performance, he handed Jin a tissue to wipe his sweat. He playfully pampered Jimin by saying "I love you" during BTS Festa 2018, making the whole group laugh. Knowing that RM sometimes gets embarrassed when a handshake fails, Suga would take the initiative to grab RM's hand first. He always keeps an eye on the youngest member, Jungkook, smiling sweetly at him. And who could forget the 2016 Mom Awards when BTS won their first day sing? Suga was the first to break down in tears and cried the most. Perhaps he was overwhelmed because the efforts and music he and the members had worked so hard on were finally being recognized. Suga used to work in the studio from midnight until 6 a.m. just to compose imperfect songs as quickly as possible. He shared that before their debut, he sometimes only got 1 hour of sleep, often eating, sleeping, and resting right in the studio to work more. He is so strict with himself because he wants every song from the group to be polished and meticulously crafted. Every time an album is released, Suga gets really anxious, worrying that something might go wrong and that ARMYs won't like it. Besides composing, being an idol means dancing and singing on stage, which is really demanding. Suga always works hard on choreography with the group, especially when preparing for comebacks and tours. He strives to show ARMYs a perfect Suga and never wants to disappoint those who love and support him. But personally, I think Suga is already amazing and deserves more rest. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Suga shared that after performing at the AMAs, he cried in the shower not from happiness, but from fear. He was terrified because their success exceeded his wildest dreams, something he hadn't dared to imagine. He was afraid that the higher they climbed, the harder it would be to bear the weight of their crown. The brighter the spotlight, the darker the shadow it casts behind. Being a hugely popular group with a massive fan base also means dealing with a significant number of anti-fans. One of the most obvious places to witness this is at airports. There was an incident where a Sasang fan tried to kiss Suga, but thankfully, the security team intervened in time. In another incident, a Japanese Sasang fan followed Suga at the airport and kept touching him inappropriately without his consent. What's even scarier is that she ended up on the same flight as Suga. She even boasted about how Suga had the least security, making him easy to approach. At a fan sign event on September 18, 2014, Suga promised that he would buy beef for armies when he became more successful and earned more money. A year later, an army asked him when he would fulfill that promise, and he wrote on a note that it would be on March 9, 2018, his 25th birthday. Finally, that day came, and he celebrated a warm birthday with Bangtan. Armies might have thought he had forgotten that promise, but he didn't. Some fans reported receiving beef from Yoongi, proving that he kept his word. He also donated beef to several child welfare centers in Daegu, Suga's hometown. An employee working at one of the centers mentioned they received a call from Big Hit Entertainment, and then a delivery of first-class Hanwoo beef arrived, labeled as from Army, not Min Yoongi. Isn't that just the sweetest gesture? Suga rarely shows his emotional struggles openly, but when fans catch glimpses of his hardships, many armies are moved to tears, not out of pity, but out of concern and wonder why he had to endure it all alone. In 2013, he continued to participate in group promotions despite having appendicitis. Even while in the hospital for treatment, he was involved in the release of the School Love Affair album. It didn't stop there. In 2016, Suga injured his hand, which forced him to step away from activities. Worried that he might disrupt BTS's work, he took to Twitter to explain and apologize to armies. Suga also admitted that he felt he was overweight at one point and chose to engage in extremely rigorous workouts to lose weight. Unfortunately, this led to a serious shoulder injury, and doctors advised him to stop training. This situation left him feeling hopeless. When armies learned about everything Suga went through to face his challenges, many were deeply concerned and offered him positive messages. Suga then expressed his gratitude, thanking armies for caring about his well-being and hoping they would continue to support him so he could grow even stronger. Baekhyun, a YouTuber and former trainee at Big Hit, shared a touching story about Suga. One day, J-Hope's mom sent him a box of dry herring. J-Hope brought the food to the table for all the trainees to enjoy, and it was so delicious that they finished it in no time. However, Baekhyun had a little mishap the next morning. He woke up with severe stomach pain. He locked himself in the bathroom, throwing things around in agony. Just when he thought he was alone in his struggle, there was a knock at the door, and it was none other than Suga. Suga asked if Baekhyun was okay, and noticing he wasn't, took him to the hospital. On the way, Baekhyun felt extremely nauseous and could barely walk, so Suga supported him all the way to the hospital room. Baekhyun eventually lost consciousness and fell asleep. When he woke up, he saw Suga sleeping in a chair beside him. Baekhyun later learned that Suga had paid all the hospital bills, despite the limited financial means of a trainee at the time. Baekhyun was incredibly grateful to Suga, and whenever he recounts this story, he often gets emotional and teary-eyed. Beyond his sweet actions, Suga has said some things that deeply touch the hearts of listeners, leaving many armies teary-eyed. Suga once said, "I should be a supporting character. One thing is certain, people listen to and know our music because of V and Jungkook's faces. That's good. That's fine. There are times I have to hold back tears because I shouldn't cry. Even when the tears are about to come out, I have to swallow them back in. Why don't people stop scrutinizing a rapper? Can an underground rapper become an idol? I had to train hard until my throat was dry and surpass many other trainees to debut. For me, rap is life, and now I am known as a rapper of BTS." At 13, Suga started writing lyrics and learning about MIDI. He worked part-time at a recording studio at 17, where he began composing and arranging music, rapping, and performing. Before signing with Big Hit, he was active under the name Gloss as an underground rapper. As part of the hip-hop crew D-Town, Suga produced the song 518062 in 2010 to commemorate the Gwangju Uprising. While others his age might have been enjoying time with their parents, Suga became a trainee at a very young age, always thinking about work and more work. Depression is a serious issue, but thankfully, Suga has overcome it. I hope he'll work less and take more time to rest. Whatever happens, I hope he shares his struggles with his bandmates and armies instead of bearing them alone. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe. And don't forget to hit the notification bell so you'll know whenever I upload a new video. See you in the next one.